Hi, everyone. I'm Elaine Brewster, and this is Aspects of Energy, a forum where we look at ways to raise our energy. Now, one of the things that my husband did, I think you know that pretty much everything in this program is related to something that has to do with the book that I wrote about my husband's cancer journey. And so it's not a memoir to my husband, but it's using his life in teaching us things. So he is there. And part of what he wanted was he wanted his own business. He was a chemical engineer. He worked at a university. He had a high prestige job. And yet he wanted something that he could call his own. So today we have on with us the amazing Ben Woodward, who has done in his, to me, young life, so many different things that, and all leadership jobs that are just amazing and astounding. One of the last things that he did was he shifted from being a company president to going into the field as a network marketer. And he's done some other amazing things since then too. But that's mainly what I'd love you to focus on today, Ben, is to tell us the beauty of network marketing and what it offers and why you chose to do that. And tell us a little bit about your story. Basically, you just talk and we'll listen.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good. And I know there's questions and answers that we have at the end as well. So do please make some notes as to what questions you might like to ask as time goes on, because I love the interaction and the discussion that can come as a consequence of good conversation. So yeah, as Elaine mentioned, prior to me being in the field as a distributor, my role was a company president. Now, I was company president for the company that I'm now a distributor with. Yeah. So why did I make that transition? It was interesting at the time because it's not something that happens very often. It was rare enough to hit a number of different spaces in the media, within the industry of network marketing, a number of different news channels that are out there, curious to interview me and talk about that transition themselves. What prompted the thought, why did I do it? It was interesting. The main reason, really, I didn't initially see it as I'm quitting my job and becoming a network marketer. This is the irony of it all, because that concept didn't really hit me until the very last day that I was in the office and I handed over my keys to the chairman. Yeah, and then all of a sudden I realized I no longer have access to the building. I'm no longer an employee. This is different. So why did I do it? We had made some changes in the business that were really designed to support the field. Network marketers have a better experience. And what I've noticed is, I've worked in the industry now for a number of years. Prior to this company, I've worked for two multi-billion-dollar network marketing companies. And I've been on the board of directors for our UK Trade Association and on the CEO Council for our trade association in Europe. And that trade association in Europe is responsible for 34 billion euros of annual revenue. That's a significant amount of income. So we really helped to sit there and look at, shape and shift what works, what doesn't, how are people performing, what are our struggles, what are our difficulties, and so on. And that gave me an insight that many network marketers in the field don't get. And what I saw there was we need to do a better job of helping the little guy, those at the lower ranks, because people join network marketing because they have a dream. Yes, they love the products. Yes, they can see the products have value. They're exclusive, they're unique, they're special. But if you want access to the products exclusively, you can be a customer. Yeah. So why does someone transition from being a customer to being a distributor, or jump right in with both feet and become a distributor in the first place? It's because they want something more than simply having the benefit of the product. They want something extra. And what I found was Network marketing is a space where people want to have dreams, where they want to have hopes and aspirations, where they want to feel a greater sense of security, a greater sense of belonging, and a greater sense of community as well. So these dreams aren't always founded exclusively in making more money. Now, as an entrepreneur, of course, that should go without saying. Money is not a dirty word. Yeah. And so we need to recognize, as we are building our own business and as we are venturing off as entrepreneurs in network marketing, that having some financial goals is both healthy, appropriate, and necessary. What I wanted to do as I moved into the field to become a distributor, initially, I still had my president's hat on. And it took me a while to make that emotional transition from being the president to being a distributor and having my own business. Because my whole objective really was, I wanted to help resonate and connect more with the field to help them understand how they can have a better experience as entrepreneurs, especially at the front end, at the lower ranks, where we can have a greater opportunity to earn more money. Because often, in many instances, and this has been reported plenty of times, the money skews upwards, doesn't it? Those at the top ranks, they earn great amounts. Those at the lower ranks earn a little bit, but we have far more at the lower ranks than we do at the top. And that's kind of the same in many corporations, isn't it? You've got one president or one CEO, and you'll have many people that work in the warehouse, many people that are working in customer services, many people working in marketing, and so on and so forth. And it gets smaller and smaller as you get into the management tree and work your way up. Our goal, of course, is to learn how can we work our way up. The benefit of this in network marketing, if I worked in my conventional business, for example, I was the president at the time, I wasn't the chairman of the company. We had one person that sat in that spot, and I could see he wasn't going anywhere. So my chance for promotion there is zero. Yeah. And it's the same anywhere else. There was another company I worked for that's been around over 50 years, and they're a $10 billion network marketing company, privately owned. There's two families that owns it. And what are the chances of getting into the position of chairman and CEO there when it's family owned? Zero. Yeah, it's getting lower and lower and lower, isn't it? But here in the field, as a distributor in network marketing, you can become the CEO of your own business very quickly. And you can build that, what that means, what that looks like in terms of impact, in terms of personal development, in terms of collaboration and community, and of course income. You can develop that according to your own ambitions and your own commitment to work at it. And that's what I love, is I can bring someone else in and they can partner with me and be a part of my team. They can reach out and they can have their own goals to become the CEO of their company. They're not in competition with me. If anything, it's my greatest desire to help them to achieve their goals. Yeah, because the better they do, the better I do. And that's one of the unique benefits of this type of business, is that it's built on a premise that we succeed with a pay it forward principle. Yeah, and that's a founding principle of success and happiness. And that is that if you try to chase success or happiness, both of them will often evade you. Yeah, if I'm chasing happiness, I'll often look in the wrong places. If I'm chasing success, I might be governed by the wrong principles. I might be more self-centered in my chase, yeah, because I'm chasing it for my sense of achievement. But if I do the right things, if I'm focused on causes greater than myself, then I will find that happiness and success will ensue. They will follow on. So the key is to make that shift. Rather than pursue it, let it ensue. Do the right things and the consequence will follow in a positive way. And that's really what network marketing is built upon as well, is if I can support other people, find out as I work with them and support them what their goals are. This is the exciting thing. In a conventional environment, just as a quick example before I finish that sentence, when I was the president of a company, a managing director of a region, or a general manager of a market, for example, On an annual basis, I'd have to put together a business plan that would always include a forecast of what our growth would be for the following year. It's always required. And typically those are in increments of percentage points. If you're going into double digits to 12%, 15%, boy, you're doing pretty good. Yeah, something positive is really happening. In network marketing, if I was to sit down with my team and say, what do you want to accomplish in your business over the next year? Let's put together a business plan. Let's look at where you are now and where you want to be. And then project an outcome. What does that outcome look like? And so as I built all of that together, what you'd find is an outcome that would probably be in personal growth of your business, well beyond single digits of percentage points, beyond double digits, probably into triple, maybe even quadruple digit growth, if you just focused on helping others achieve their goals. And the nice thing about that is there is nothing that feels better than helping someone else succeed and achieve their goals. It's a wonderful feel-good factor. So for me, as I've been in the field now for 5.5 years, 5.5 years it's been, coming up 6 years, what I've found is the best part of the job is working with my teammates where I can help them to understand what their goals are and then find ways where we can help them to achieve them. And that's not always quick wins. That's not something where you sit down and it's a process and it's an event where you have a conversation and then the next month they've won. Yeah, if only. This business, like any other business, is a long-term business. We've got people in our organization that have been around in this team, in the field, and in this company for over 20 years, over 25 years. So what that tells me is this is a long-term business opportunity that provides an income opportunity and a community and a place to belong that has the potential to last a lifetime. And that is really very reassuring, isn't it? When we look to our futures, what do we want to achieve? What do we want to become? And what kind of impact do we want to have? So the goal is really to help people understand what long-term plans they can accomplish and then what short-term goals they can accomplish along the way to ensure that they can see I'm making progress and I'm moving forwards. Because it's important that we can measure and track the right activity and the right results. I have found, as an aside, having the privilege now of being in the field for the last 5.5 years, the luxury of time freedom that it has afforded me is something that I don't think anything can ever compete with. Time is something that is beyond precious, isn't it, to each of us? It's beyond precious and it's beyond valuable. And you can't buy it. You've got only what you've got at the end of every day. Everyone's got the same amount. And everyone's really fighting for what can they do to make the most of it. And what I have really loved with this business model is how it has given me true time freedom, where I'm, as the father of 8 children, I'm available and around to do things like drop my 5-year-old off at kindergarten at 11:30 in the morning versus be in a meeting with the marketing department or with the sales team. Yeah, I can show up there. I can be there when they get home from school. I can be around for dinner and I can actually be the one that makes it. Yeah, well, what a privilege that is. And I can be there with my children as much as I choose to be, which is a lot. Yeah, and I'm grateful for that opportunity, because nothing is more precious and important than our family connections and our family relationships. And of course, interpretation of family is different to every person's unique circumstances. I want to highlight and reference that. For me, it's my wife and children. For other people, it might be whoever is either in their home or perhaps who their close friends and relatives are that form their family bonds. But it's relationships that matter most, isn't it? And having time to invest in them is something that is irreplaceable. So now becoming your own boss, you've got the opportunity, and it's also the challenge of being the governor of your own time and the true master of your own fate, because I can make this what I will. What I have found is the great challenge for many is they move out of the workplace into this space here, but they try to treat it like a job. You can't treat your business like a job. It's different. When it's your own company, your concept of hours, even though I have time freedom, it changes. It does mean if I really want to make this work, I might need to put in more hours. You know, I grew up, my father has always worked for himself. He's always been his own boss. And for a long time, up until his retirement, he was a property developer and he built houses and had his own building company. And one thing that he always said to me, I remember him saying this to me when I was about 10 years old. He said, it's great to have your own business. He said, but when you've got a 9-to-5 job, you clock off, you go home, you can forget about your job. And then you go back the next day and you pick up where you left off. When you own your own business, you don't do that. You come home, you keep thinking about it. Yeah, you wake up the next morning, you're still thinking about it. Yeah. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we suddenly burden ourselves with something that occupies all of our waking time in a stressful and worrisome way? Well, actually, it's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. If we're doing something that we love, if the cause that we're involved in really matters to us, if we're making a difference in people's lives and we can see that we're impacting them positively, be it our customers or our business partners or our extended community, if we can see that and be a part of that and appreciate that, then we actually end up spending our waking hours doing the things that matter most, being in love with what we do. And who was it, Benjamin Franklin, that said, find a job that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Yeah, all of a sudden you find that you've got your own business and you're spending a lot of time on it. It doesn't feel like work because it's love. And that is great. So that's been my experience, is I love what I do. I do spend a lot of time in it, but I also have times where I don't, where I can step back and I can spend time with my family and devote my time to other things. Like Elaine mentioned, I'm not sure if it was before the recording or not, but since my time as a distributor, I wrote my book. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do that if it wasn't for my time in the field here as a distributor, where I could be the governor of my own time, carve out time each week and each day to set aside to write that. And I have to say again, a big thanks to my team who helped make it a #1 bestseller. I'm sure that happened because there were a lot of people in Nikken that thought, hey, we'll get that and we'll have a look. So what a great outcome that was too. So I'm going to pause now because I know this is a half-hour call and there's a time for Q&A at the end. Is that right, Elaine? So, oh, your mic is still on, Elaine.
Sorry, thanks. Do any of you have any questions? I don't see any Q&A in the chat right now. Hi, Dawn Marie. Do you have a question, Dawn Marie? There, she's got her hand up.
Yes, I do.
I would be surprised if you didn't, Dawn Marie.
I'm just taking this all in. There's just so much powerful information that's coming that I want it all. And so I'm trying to figure out how to be better at what I'm doing. I retired 4 years ago. I was introduced to this business a year ago. Mm-hmm. And I would like to know, Ben, you mentioned time is precious. And I realize the freedom that you get from doing your own business. But how do you balance the time? You have 8 children, you have a business that you are running successfully, you are an author, you're a husband. How do you carve out the time to do what you do? Because I find I'm all over the place. Yeah. And sometimes not getting anything successfully done.
That I think is one of the most common questions that I've been asked. Not just throughout my career. Yeah. How do I get everything done? It really comes down to this principle. Don't let the things that matter most be at the mercy of the things that matter least. Yeah. It all comes down to priorities. When I joined Nikken, my introduction to this company was different to everyone in the field. Like I mentioned, I came from the corporate side. I started out as the European sales director, became the managing director, and then became the global president. When I started out as the sales director, I was responsible for 17 countries. At that point in time, I think I may have had 6 children. I can't recall. It was about 6 children, perhaps. I had involvement in my church that gave me assignments and responsibilities there. And I started a university degree that I was doing because I thought I travel all the time. I was away out of the country almost every week. And I thought, well, I'm in a hotel room by myself, every week. Let's put that time to good use. I like to read, I like to study. So for the next 5 years, I got an English degree. During that time, I don't think I watched television all that much. Yeah, I did read a lot and I did get a degree. And which do I prefer? I'm far more grateful that I've got my degree in English language and literature than the fact that I binge watched a few TV episodes, or series. Now, I'm not saying that TV is bad. You've got to have your time for relaxation and rest, But my point is, I had to determine what matters most. And only the most important things made it to my schedule. And everything else, if it wasn't important, if it couldn't fit on that schedule, then it was off.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is another, so don't let the things that matter most be at the mercy of the things that matter least. The other thing is we've got to learn to say no to lots of good things in order to say yes to the very best.
Yes.
If you want the best outcome in your life or in your business, then you've got to say no to good things. This is the great challenge, isn't it? We often think that the challenge is choosing between right and wrong. It's not. We know the difference between right and wrong. The challenge is in choosing between better and best, and in choosing the best.
Right.
That will require more sacrifice. It will require more reflection on how committed I am to my goals. Yeah, because good is safe.
Right.
But the enemy of the best is the good. Yeah. So if you want to be good, it's pretty easy to be good.
Right.
If you want to be best, you got to say no to a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
No worries. I hope that helps. It's a challenge. That's where the rubber really meets the road on that principle.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. No problem.
Ben, here's another question for you. Is there are still a lot of people out there who have really old perceptions of network marketing. I understand that network marketing has gone through, maybe about 4 different waves. What do you do, or is that even a worry to you to help change people's perceptions?
Well, it depends on if the perception is a question or a concern. Yeah. There's a difference there. If they've got a problem with it and they don't want that concern resolved, that's a different subject. If it's an authentic, genuine question, then I'm happy to answer and to clarify. Yeah, because the reality is it's a thriving, growing industry globally, as well as in the US. And during the pandemic, when many people were being laid off, losing their jobs, worrying about their income, and then being stuck at home in isolation to fret and to be concerned, in that scenario, and there are a lot of people in that situation, millions, network marketing thrived, and network marketing companies grew. And we went from a position where all these different companies are saying, we've got to figure out suddenly how to work in a virtual space. How do we do that? Yeah, now we've got to start figuring out what Zoom's all about and start doing this. We were already doing it. Yeah, we were already there. We didn't have this sudden jarring experience where we had to have sudden change versus subtle transformation. We were there already, we were doing it. And people found that they could reach out to more. People were suddenly more open and receptive and responsive, because now I need to look at an additional income. Now I need to look at something else that might offer me security. Now what I thought was secure actually wasn't, and I need to have a wider mindset and a more open mindset as to what is truly on the table for me to take. Yeah, and so I think we need to help make that quite clear, that this is something that thrived and can thrive for you in this current environment that we're in. But fundamentally, the reason that people have concerns, it will revolve around just a couple of points. They think it's a pyramid scheme where people make money off of other people being recruited. Yeah, that is illegal. We don't do that. We make money as a consequence of a product being sold to a customer. Every commission you earn is the result of a product being sold to an end user, to a customer. And as a result, the bigger your sales team, the more customers you get, the more income you can have. And you can build as many sales teams as you want, just like in a corporate environment, yeah, if we were to use the same language. So they often have a concern about that. And the other one that they have a concern over is, or the other two, is inflated earnings claims, where people will say this is a get rich quick opportunity. So I'm going to recruit a lot of people, make money off the fact that you joined, and I'm going to tell you that you can make a fortune in the next couple of years and live the dream. That's not true. And the great thing is, for us in Nikken, we don't advocate that. We tell you, this is a real business that requires you to put in real effort, that will give you real results, that will require real sacrifice, but it will give you real results over time. We want you to be patient. We want you to develop skills. We've got webinars and classes for you on a weekly basis to help you in developing yourself and your group to know what to do and when. So that's a real business environment there. And the other one is inflated product prices that make it very difficult to sell to customers, which is why you got the whole recruiting thing becoming an issue. Yeah. Well, we don't have that either. We've got genuine, fantastic products that everyone loves. When I was president of Nikken, we ran a survey to ask people, why did you join us in the first place? 90% of respondents said they joined for the product. 90%. And we've got people that have been around in this business buying the product month after month or year after year for decades. So therein, we beat that kind of paradigm or that concept again. It's not an issue. We've got great products. They are authentic. They are real. They're based on what we refer to as the 5 essential elements or the vital elements of health. We need air to breathe, water to drink, a good night's sleep, and good nutrition. So we have organic nutritional products. We have air purifiers that also put in negative ions into the atmosphere and improve the quality of our breathing indoors, which is fantastic. We have sleep systems that improve and regulate and give us deep restorative sleep, so that we don't just get those things at a basic level, we get them with quality and with luxury. And who doesn't want that? Yeah. So now, and then you have it at a reasonable price. Yeah. So what's not to love about what we're offering here? Products that people need, that are easy to explain. This isn't a gadget or a gimmick. You can get someone to lie down on a mattress topper and say, sleep on that. Tell me how you feel in the morning. You know, this is great. It works while you sleep. You know, stay well hydrated with our water systems and you'll feel the difference. Yeah, and you just got so much that is immediately you can demonstrate and they can feel the benefit. Demonstrate, they feel the benefit. So there is legitimacy that is experienced so quick. We just need to do a better job on our end of opening our mouths and spreading the message. Yeah. But to me, when someone has that concern, Elaine, that you mentioned, what if it's, you know, one of these, you know, network marketing's got this bad reputation. You're looking through the wrong end of the telescope. because yeah, I see it as one of the greatest business models that's on the planet. Yeah, it's incredible.
Well, and as far as when you were talking about time, excuse me, one of the sweetest pictures in my mind was when Kim needed some more rest just after baby number 8 came, and you were on a call like this, but you were in charge of the baby, and she started to cry. And so you said, just a minute, went in the other room, got this cute little baby, brought it back, and then you continued with the Zoom. And I just thought, I'm sorry, but it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
That was a really good example.
Thank you. No, I love it. It's been wonderful for Kim and I, and the way that we raise our family, and how we can work together as a husband and wife, and you know, build a business together. She's heavily involved in the business. She doesn't do the webinars like I do, but she is frequently, you know, doing the accounting and the finance and all of that complex stuff, which is great for us, great for me, because I'm much prefer to do this than to do the finances. But it's, yeah, it's nothing more precious than to be able to be with my newborn and keep doing what I do. You know, I've missed a lot of that in the past, you know, where we've had a child and then I've had to jump on a plane and fly up somewhere. And now running my own business, doing this with network marketing, I've never had to worry about that ever since.
Uh-oh, she might get spoiled.
Yeah, yeah. We're going to stop at 8 though. We're going to stop at 8. Yeah, this is not setting a precedent for things to come. Yeah.
That makes me think of another question. What have your perceptions of network marketing in this business been that benefit your children? Besides your having time to be with them, what benefits do you see for your children themselves?
I think the first benefit that I see is for my older children that start to look differently at what they want to do when they're older in terms of entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
I think it opens their eyes up to, I can run my own business. I can create something for myself. I can have bigger goals and aspirations than perhaps what conventional employment might offer. Think bigger and make my life something more exciting. And I like that because, you know, Kim and I have both said to our children that, you know, our aspiration for them, our goal for them is to become better people than we are. That doesn't mean that they achieve more financially, of course. That's not what I'm saying, but we want you to become better people. You know, each generation should be an improvement on the last. And so as we've had to learn and adapt and change and develop and grow, and as we've put ourselves out into our uncomfortable spaces, you know, in order to develop, that's changed us. And as a consequence, that's had an impact on our parenting. And we've been able to share lessons that we wouldn't have learned as a consequence of this, that I think raise our children's vision and their expectations of life. We've moved, as you've seen, we've moved from California back to England, back to California. We've just moved up to Utah now. And they get to experience the world and experience different cultures. And when I travel to events sometimes, when we've hosted events, they've helped us. As you've seen some of the pictures that I've posted on Facebook, you know, with some of the ways that they've helped at events and what have you. And sometimes you've seen them turn up at the events. And I think I brought them all on stage at our most recent one in San Diego, because it's a family business. Mm-hmm. And that family business might mean something like my wife's doing the finances, I'm doing the webinars. Some of the kids might help out in event preparation. Others might just simply do things like babysitting while I'm hosting a webinar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they know this is what I do and I need a little bit of help, and they help out. And that's great. I think it just gives a different perspective. We're all in this together. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, so that's been a good experience for me. Is it's just helping them see the world's a big place and you can explore it and you can achieve as much as you want to put your mind to.
Oh, I like that.
Mhm.
broadening the world for them instead of making it feel narrow and scary and less abundant, you know, that you can only have this much.
Yeah, it's great because I mean, my daughter Abby is one that typically says yes the most. When I say I've got an event coming up or a meeting somewhere, does anyone want to come with me? I often like to have a travel buddy, yeah, and she's often been the one that's said yes, she'll come, and but it's wonderful for them, you know, to have been to places like Paris, France, or San Antonio, Texas, or Cancun. She came as a babysitter to Cancun when we won Team Kaizen, and she didn't end up doing much babysitting, as a side note. I think she ended up enjoying it a little bit more than we did, because she got out there and on some of the excursions, and we stayed at home with the baby, which was interesting. But that's a different story. But she had a great. But she's been to all these different places and met with, you know, people from our Latin American team and from people all from, you know, North America and from Europe and everything. And it's great just that they get exposed to these different cultures and countries and people, and you know, and everyone in Nikken is so loving towards them as well. You know, they all come up and say hi, and you know, and just, you know, treat them as a part of the Nikken family, and it's neat. I love it.
Plus to have their parents, you know, right at their fingertips with them all the time. What a blessing that is. Most parents are out working and don't spend that quality time with their children. So kudos to you all for figuring that out. Mhm.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like the feeling of having them feel part of the world, part of the World Nikken organization, and also part of the world.
Yeah.
When my husband and I won a trip to Japan, it happened to be at an international convention. And so we saw, they have this big parade. And so everyone carrying their nation's flag and wearing costumes from their country. At that point in America, we're going, what do we wear? So everyone wears cowboy hats, and you're going, yeah, whatever. We'll all be from Texas.
Yeah.
But, you know, everyone trooped by in their Japanese outfits, or Philippine or Argentine, you know, gaucho pants and great big, you know, Argentine hats. And you just, and Mexico, big, huge, sometimes sombreros that were going this far. And that was so exciting to realize that you, in your own little sphere, were working on the same thing that these other people were working with all around the world. It was a very sweet experience.
Yeah. That's something that's, I think, is particularly special, is that incredible sense of community and belonging, and that sense of joint cause that we're a part of. It gives strength. It's, you know, if a log falls out of the fire, it burns out pretty quick. Yeah. But if that log stays in the fire with all the others, the fire burns brighter, doesn't it?
Yes.
And so the key is really for all of us to really stay connected and to stay close, you know, to participate in these things like these calls that you're hosting here, Elaine, and the others, because that's what helps the fire burn bright, within us and within others. You know, we don't always realize just how much we're helping someone else's fire burn just by showing up. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you very much. Any other questions?
Just have a quick comment, Ben. I can only imagine with your family and the type products we have, how often those ready first aid type things must have saved trips to the emergency room or Lord knows what.
Yeah.
Because they're so simple to use and handy.
Yeah. We've got just a real quick point to finish on. On that point, my daughter Abby hurt herself when she was a little girl. Going back, I can't remember how long ago now. She got this big bruise on her leg, and we got one of our magnets and taped it to the bruise to assist the healing. Yeah, and one of the power chips. And what was fascinating was where the strength of the power chip was. It created a smiley. It healed the bruise quicker. Yeah, and it created a smiley face in her leg, in the shape of the power chip. because you know you've got the little circles within the power within the chip, yeah. And we took a photograph and shared it. We just thought that was hilarious. So it certainly improved the bruise. It healed the bruise, but it you know, in stages, in the shape of a smiley face on her leg, which was quite remarkable. But yeah, good experiences.
Well, I sense that everybody on this call wants to be part of the burning fire, you know, part of the logs or the charcoal that stay in and then help everyone else. So thank you for your part in helping us to understand your journey a little bit better. And we just continue to wish you well in your move and with new schools for your kids, and continuing in the talks and the, you know, and the other things that you're doing as still part of a book that is less than 2 years old. This is still a new book. And it's a wonderful one, The Empowerment Paradox. And it was highly recognized in the business world, but I use it just in my own personal life. To me, it's not just for business.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thank you all. And go find someone that you can smile at, because your smile will raise their energy and it will also raise yours. And next week, we are going to be talking about creation. It's nothing about creating new things to raise your energy.
Yes.
All right. Have a great weekend. Great Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.